And here's the thing about all this. As I've gotten older and slightly matured a little bit, I've learned this, and you'll learn this as well. Some things in life, they're inevitable, and there's nothing you can do about it. And this right here is one of those situations. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time that we officially talk about the Super Bowl, and weirdly enough, ever since the matchups have been set, or not the matchups, but the matchup has been set, we haven't talked about it to the slightest of bits. It seems like you guys have been enjoying the past couple of videos where we've been talking about the NFL playoffs and whatnot, but more importantly, the NFL script. I'm talking about right after the Chiefs versus the Ravens and Lions and 49ers games, we made this video right here where it's titled, The NFL Script Was Flipped. If you haven't seen that video and you want some more context to the situation here, feel free to check it out for yourself, but to make a long story short here, we talked about some of the, well, let's just say, wishy-washy and questionable things that happened in both of those games. Look, I've said this before and I'm going to continue to say it. I'm the last person to sit up here and say, oh yeah, this is rigged. I've always hated when people do that when their favorite team loses and they automatically point to, oh yeah, well, that game was rigged. I think that's having a sore loser mentality, but picking up where we left off, I didn't think there was a lot of questionable stuff in the Ravens versus Chiefs game. And I know everybody's going to point to, well, Matt, how can you say that? Because Travis Kelce, he was taunting all throughout the game and he never got a penalty for it. And I understand where you're coming from. Because everybody's bringing up how Zay Flowers, he did one thing and he got the penalty. But come on, man. There's no defending what Zay Flowers did. You can't stand up over a guy, spin the ball, and stare him down. That's just automatically going to be 15 yards. And I'm not going to divulge into that topic too much because we've already talked all about that. But one thing I've seen the past week or so, people talk about it a lot, and I was like, you know what? That is a good point. The Lamar Jackson thing where he had multiple opportunities to take off and run, but he didn't. And there was even leaked audio footage on the sidelines where Odell Beckham was telling him, man, you change the game when you take off. You got to run more. And I'm not going to focus on this too much because it's irrelevant. It's over. It's not the main focal point of this video. But outside of Lamar Jackson, the Ravens only ran the ball 8 times. So it had everybody else asking this question. Why in the crap was Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, not calling more run plays? And I agree. I wouldn't say Lamar Jackson not taking off and running more. That's weird because we all know this. He's trying to prove to everybody he's a passer. And a lot of times when quarterbacks are stuck in this mentality that they don't want to take off, they don't even look to run anymore. But Todd Monken not calling more run plays than what he did, that's the thing that sticks out to me the most. Moving along to our next game that followed right after that, if any game had you thinking the NFL is scripted, it had to be that one. I don't even want to think about it because it pisses me off for Lions fans. And to give you some context, I'm not a fan of any of these teams that played last weekend, or not last weekend, but the weekend before. You get what I'm trying to say. I have to throw that in there because let's just say if I was a fan of the Ravens, you're going to have people saying, oh, well, of course he's saying it's potentially scripted or rigged because his team lost. Well, no, sorry, buddy. You can't use that argument because I don't have a horse in the race. What you're hearing right now is as unbiased as it gets, so do what you please with the information. The Lions versus 49ers was a tale of two halves, but even looking back on it now, like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. On one hand, in the first half, you got the Lions clicking on all cylinders, defense playing amazing, offense can't be stopped, and for the 49ers, it's vice versa. Their offense sucks, and their defense also sucks. And then you fast forward in time to the second half, it's like, boom, the script flipped or the roles reversed here. The Lions offense, who, by the way, couldn't be stopped in the first half, they couldn't even get a first down in the second half. But no big deal, though, no big deal. You still have your defense. They were playing awesome in the first half. Well, no, that wasn't the case either. Their defense was like the one-ply toilet paper in the middle school bathroom. And to go on top of that, you know, the 49ers, their offense and defense was struggling in the first half. Well, they were amazing in the second half. And I get there's halftime adjustments and there's momentum and all that good stuff, but that right there is definitely fishy to me. And to put the cherry on top of things, you had Josh Reynolds drop not one, but 2 routine catches that ultimately led to you not getting a first down and a turnover on downs. And I say all that to say this. I asked you guys in that video, let me know in the comment section, do you think the NFL is rigged, scripted, or just let me know your thoughts down below, and we're going to check out some of these comments. Neon said, thank you for this, Neon, once the Kelce/Swift relationship started, it was obvious the Chiefs were going to the big game. The NFL is considered sports entertainment with the government, so yes, they can rig games legally. What about that? Matthew stated, shout out to Matthew, like that name by the way, the NFL definitely wants the Chiefs in. Taylor's cult will bring in so much revenue for the Super Bowl, and I agree. NFL is WWE in football equipment. Goodell was like, dang, they're on to us, and changed the script last second. He ain't fooling nobody. And there's many more we could read off, but we'll end it off with this one because it's how I feel about the game and the situation. Detroit straight up threw that game in the second half. They did, man, they did. They straight up threw the game, but here we are, okay? We can talk about how rigged it was, whatnot, but we're not here to do that. We're here to talk about this Super Bowl matchup, or leading up to it at least. Let's address the elephant in the room here. A lot of people are rooting against the Chiefs just because of the whole Taylor Swift situation. And a lot of people, as you saw from those comments right there, they always thought the Chiefs were a lock to get into the Super Bowl just because of Taylor Swift rooting for Travis Kelce. I'm going to give you my honest take on the situation. I don't think Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are in this relationship just for publicity and to make money off of it. This is typical and normal. Rich and famous people date other rich and famous people. Now, as far as it goes for the NFL, and y'all know your boy Matt loves a good old conspiracy theory, and you're not going to like this, but that's how I feel about it. I don't think the NFL is in on it whatsoever. They just so happen to be a beneficiary of all this going on. Does the NFL generate more revenue with Taylor Swift just showing up to the games? Yes, absolutely. But that's just a coincidence, or at least that's what I'm going to chalk it up to. And maybe somehow, some way, it's all tied in together. I mean, this would be the most scripted and movie-like ending ever. The Chiefs, they win the Super Bowl, and as soon as it's over, Travis Kelce, he proposes to Taylor Swift. I think that's most people's biggest nightmare, and they would hate for that to happen. Me personally, I just don't care enough to hate it. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm not here to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce too much, because that's not even what I care about. I care about football. I care about the game itself. And let's talk about the game. I believe right now, as to where it stands, I haven't even looked at it. I'm just going to assume the Chiefs are the favorite. All right, pulling it up right here. No. To my surprise, the 49ers, they are a 1.5 point favorite. Interesting. I don't know. That one, it doesn't sit right with me. I don't get that. Sure, the Chiefs may not be as talented as the 49ers, but they got the veteran leaders. They've got guys that have been there before, and more importantly, they got Patrick Mahomes. I don't get that. I feel like a team that has a quarterback that has as much experience as Patrick Mahomes, they should be the favorite. I don't know, man, and I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd be eating that 1.5 up. I'd be all over that. I'd put my money on the Chiefs to cover that every single day. As far as it goes for the game, though, here's exactly what I expect, and I think this is in the script. I mean, let's be honest here. There's not going to be a blowout. That's not good for the NFL, and more importantly, that's not good for the advertisers. For those of you who don't know, the Super Bowl isn't just big because of the game itself. It's big for the commercials. A 30-second commercial, and this is the last time I heard. It's probably changed, but this is the bare minimum. A 30-second commercial for the Super Bowl, it's about roughly $1.5–2 million. We're talking about 30 seconds, guys. Most people will never even make $2 million in their lifetime on this planet. And a company out there is spending $2 million for a 30-second ad. Think about that. And I know some of you are sitting there saying, okay, Matt, buddy, I know that. Why are you even bringing that up? And that's a great question, and I have a great answer. I say that to say this. These advertisers wouldn't be too happy if, I don't know, let's just say the 49ers are blowing out the Chiefs 37-10 late in the third quarter and their ad pops up. Because obviously if the score is 37-10 late in the third quarter, most people are going to turn off the game. Or I wouldn't say most people, but you're going to have quite a few turn off the game. Your real football fans and your diehard fans like me and you, we're still going to watch. But I'm talking about your casual viewers. And the point is, you get what I'm trying to say here, you're going to lose some viewership. And the whole point of buying that $2 million ad is because you're expecting a lot of people to view it. So a blowout in the Super Bowl, you can just mark that out of the equation. That's not going to happen. That's bad business. Because let's just say Coca-Cola, they have a 30-second ad late in the third quarter, and they don't feel like they got their money's worth this year. Well, they may not come back next year. So I don't think we're going to see a blowout, but here's what I do think we're going to see happen. I think the 49ers, they're going to jump out all over them. I expect to see some storybook ending where the 49ers are leading all game, and then Patrick Mahomes, he has some all-time legacy drives in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. It just seems like the 49ers are going to run all over them in the first half. Purdy's going to have a couple touchdowns, and then boom, out of nowhere, the Chiefs catch fire. I expect to see some crazy tip passes like in the Lions versus the 49ers game. You're going to see craziness. You may see a punt return, touchdown, kick return. Anything's up in the air. It's a Super Bowl. You almost got to feel like it's written in the script somewhere that 3 to 4 mind-blowing plays are going to happen. And I expect the Chiefs to win this game in crazy comeback fashion. Why do I think that's going to happen? Because it's good for the narrative, and also it's good for the longevity of the NFL. You see, this is something a lot of people aren't talking about. The NFL and the college game, just any sport in general, it thrives when you have a villain. I said this last time we talked about it, and I'm going to say it again. Look at Alabama football. I think it's something like 80% of the people that tune into Alabama games aren't even Alabama fans. It's just straight up haters that are wanting Alabama to lose because they're the top dog. The past 15 to 16 years in college football, when you think of college football, you think of Alabama. They're a global brand, and more importantly, they've been the biggest dynasty in college football history. So yes, it's easy to root for them to fail. When you have a dynasty like that, it brings in hate watchers, and it doesn't matter if you're hate watching or you're like watching, whatever watching, it's good for business. Same thing with the NFL. Ironically enough, have you noticed? The Patriots dynasty ended and then a new one started right after. The NFL needs dynasties because it keeps casuals tuning in so they can hate watch and root against somebody. Most people tuning into this game don't even know jack squiddly crap about the 49ers. But guess what? Here's what they do know. The Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes. They got the best quarterback in the NFL. So, that guy's the best? I'm rooting against him. It would be extremely beneficial for the NFL to have the Chiefs to go out here and win this game. I'm telling you. And I got to believe in the script, man. The script tells us that the Chiefs need to and are going to win this game. So that's what I'm going with. Who knows, though? Maybe old Roger Goodell, he'll flip the script. They're playing mind games with us. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. And here's the thing about all of this. As I've gotten older and slightly matured a little bit, I've learned this. And you'll learn this as well. Some things in life, they're inevitable. And there's nothing you can do about it. And this right here is one of those situations. The modern version of the NFL is nothing but pure entertainment. Like the person said in one of the comments, it's the WWE. You can run from it, you can hide from it, you can do whatever you want, but destiny is always bound to happen. Let me know your thoughts down below. But